Hello and welcome to our latest episode of The Sales Circle, where we intend to bring you lots of useful hints, tips, advice on everything to do with sales, marketing and business growth. And in this week's episode, we are going to be interviewing my good friend Gareth. Gareth, how are you?
I'm all right, thanks, Rob.
Good, thanks for joining us. So Gareth, you own a company called Bespoke Benefits.
That's right.
Tell me all about Bespoke Benefits.
We are an employee benefits agency, so we work with mainly corporate clients, advising them and supporting them with the benefits that they put in for staff. So we're mainly focused on group protection, so that would be medical, life, income protection, health benefits, that sort of thing. Yeah, anything that an employer wants to fund for their employees, but we do have a focus on group protection.
Fantastic. So all the stuff that we should probably have in place is what we're going to learn by the end of this.
Yeah, by the end of this, I'll sold it to you.
Yeah. That's the intention. That's the plan. So, if memory serves you right, this is your business, obviously with a partner. So, how long has the business been going?
We've been going a year. We were a management buyout from our previous employer. The team's been together for 12 years, and I've been in this industry for 22. So
you must have started very young.
Thank you very much. Second job out of university, and I've always kind of enjoyed it. So
fantastic. So during that journey with Bespoke Benefits, then, so you must have seen some growth during that time. How's that growth come about so far?
So since our sort of inception as Bespoke Benefits, it's been fairly organic. So we've got a loyal client bank, and we do a good job for them. And they've not been shy to pass their names to contacts that they have. And also we do find with a sort of a churn in the employment market, some of the contacts that we have had, they have gone to go and work at other organisations, and they have given us a call or a LinkedIn message and said, I'm somewhere else now, we've got issues, can you come and help? And so we've done quite nicely this year, just out of organic inquiries.
Fantastic, that's really good. And that's, to be fair, we didn't prep for this part that I'm going to start asking you about now. So it's all off the cuff. There's no script on my screen here. But you've mentioned sort of two key parts of sales that I think a lot of people neglect or forget about. And for me, they're the recommendations and referrals. You know, you're being recommended by existing clients or people that have been with you before, but then you're sort of getting natural referrals. If you don't mind me asking, are those things that you are chasing, or are they just naturally happening?
At the moment, they are things that are just naturally happening. In our market, in employee benefits at the moment, there's a big focus. Everything's kind of shifted. The employee has the whip hand, and employers are falling over themselves to offer more benefits, to look at what they've got. And that is creating inquiries, because people are sort of saying, well, who do you use for your benefits? You know, what are you doing? And our name is getting passed around. So, and also we're seeing quite a bit of cross sales at the moment, because people are looking to expand the benefits that they're offering. So yes, that's where it's coming from.
Amazing. And do you think, has there been a growing trend in businesses offering benefits to their staff, or is it? It's nothing new, is it? But
yes, it has. Which is a lot of factors. Part of it's the pandemic. Lots of factors going on there. A lot of it is millennials coming into the workforce. So in the past, you know, our parents, they would go and work at an organisation, they have a final salary pension, and they know they're there until 65, they get their pension, that's it. And that's kind of the contract between the employee and the employer, you know. That's not how it is anymore. People aren't prepared to work for a salary and a retirement. They want more. They want health benefits. They want to know that their employer is concerned about their mental health, about their physical well-being. They want apps. They want discounts at retailers. They want their employer to care. And if their employer doesn't care, they're going to jump and find somebody else that does. And that is really very, very, we're seeing that an awful lot with millennials coming into the workforce. They want to know that their employer cares about them, cares about their career progression, is going to offer them a good benefits package, cares about the environment. You know, what's their employer doing? Are they planting trees? You know, they want to know all this stuff. And we are there to support that with the products that we advise on.
I like that. And I think it's a trend that we're, you know, obviously me as an employer, we recognise, I think you are right. People don't just want that salary, that it's everything else. It's selling that story, I think, is to the company and the lifestyle more so than just that monthly wage or weekly wage or whatever it is.
And the conversation at the moment is a lot of existing clients and prospects to us coming to us and saying, what else can we be doing? What are other people doing? Are there any benefits we don't have? Which is quite great, to be honest. But it's good to see employers doing that, because I genuinely want to see employers sort of looking after their employees. It's a nice thing to do. It's a nice thing to go into an employer and sort of know that their workforce is now covered for life, because that can have a huge effect on people's lives should somebody pass away unexpectedly. If somebody passes away before retirement, what plans are in place? And there is a big protection gap in the UK. Not enough people buy income protection, not enough people buy life. People don't think they're going to die or get ill. But when they do, what happens to the house? What happens to their dependents? How do they survive? And you can kind of see that with that sort of that financial shock, some families, they can fall a long way. An employer can put that in for not very much money, demonstrates that they care, not cost them very much, it's offsetable against corporation tax. Everybody wins. And it's nice to be involved in that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think there's loads of bits that you brought up there, and I think, hopefully there's more than one person watching this that are thinking, oh no, we've either got no benefits in place, or I got my benefits signed off, 5 years ago, we've never looked at it, never addressed it. For those people that are watching that thinking those things, what should they do?
Give us a call. Give us a call, speak to your advisor. Investing in your people. Most businesses are their people. We are an advisory business. Without my team, we haven't got a business. We are customer service, we are advice, we're the good people to offer that. You are your people. Without the people out there making calls, doing marketing, without good people, what is your business? In some industries, people are just bags of flour, and they'll get another person, and they won't necessarily invest in their benefits, which is a shame. But the majority of businesses, you are your people. You need the best people, so show them that you care.
Love that. So obviously you're very well experienced in the field, in the sector, and you've been in business, even before sort of Bespoke Benefits. So we know each other outside of this podcast, outside this vlog, and I know that you've done a lot of sort of cold calling in the past, and you've been in teams that have utilised cold calling. Do you have any views on cold calling at all? Has it worked for you?
Yes, it's the most direct way of making contact with a prospect. So obviously there are lots of routes to talking to a company. This is one. Social media. The one that you can guarantee success, although maybe diminishing returns these days, is to call them up and say, can we speak to you? And nobody likes that call, do they? We're all inundated with those calls. It is a necessary evil. It is a genuine route to market, and it is effective. I've done it in the past, and it does work. I think that there are ways that you should approach that call. We've all had the call. Somebody rings you. You're in the middle of your work. You're not looking to speak to them about your phone or whatever they're calling about. You've got other things to do. So I think my approach to it was always just to be polite, because if you're polite, tell them the nature of the call. If they don't want to speak, go away. I wasn't that persistent when I did it. I was polite, and I think that if you're polite, they have to be polite back, and ask if you can ask another question. That's the way to go. That's the way to handle the call. Don't sort of do a big pitch when they're not listening. Don't stay on the phone when they're trying to hang up on you. It's a genuine business-to-business inquiry, isn't it? It is a genuine route of sales. And if it is a polite business-like inquiry, why would they be rude? And if they are going to be rude, well, that's then on them, So
absolutely, because I own an award-winning telemarketing agency, so I'm quite biased on this, but I think cold calling telemarketing is a really effective way to business. And I always say to people, I think if you've got a great service or a product, if you're not telling people about that, you're actually doing them a disservice, because if there is something that is going to genuinely save me time, money, hassle, improve things, I want to know about it. So if someone's not picking up the phone to tell me, then it's I'd rather them call me. But I think you are right, there's a way to do it, isn't there?
I think always try and talk to somebody when they're interested. You know, I mean, with your marketing, you want to pique some interest. You have to get to look at your marketing, but talk to them when they're interested. I've never really sort of tried to bully my way in. You know, just talk to them when they're interested. And if you're doing a good job, you've got something which is of genuine interest to them. In time, it will be successful.
Yeah, I fully agree. And so I guess that brings me on to sort of like my next chain of thought, really. So have you sort of ever had, because obviously the telephone is an important part of any salesperson or business owner's toolkit, right? Have you ever sort of, you know, conducted any business over the phone? Have you sort of like really taken a lead to that next step by utilising the phone before?
How do you mean, sorry, Rob? Making the call and what?
Yeah, sort of taking that sort of sale from, taking that prospect further towards a sale. You know, have you sort of?
Oh yes, yes, yeah. Well, you're engaging with people over the phone. Yes, I have. I was talking to a very large prospect last night. I thought it was going to be a 15-minute call. It was a 35-minute call. My kids ended up watching way too much telly because it overran working hours. And I've gone a long way to landing that prospect on the phone, and it was just being helpful. You know, it was just talking to them about the products that they have, asking them why they have it, being interested. And by the end of I wanted to go and visit them. I was thinking that it was a phone appointment, but I was thinking I really want to go and see them. And by the end of the call, they were inviting me to their offices, which is ideal, you know. But it was really just sort of being helpful, demonstrating value.
Absolutely.
And yeah, you know, face-to-face is great. If you can't do face-to-face, you know, do the phone.
A telephone call is pretty much just as good. Yeah.
I try not to do much on email, if I can, because for emails, they can land wrong. Sometimes they're hard to interpret. You know, an email sparks a question, which sparks another question. It's just easy usually to pick up the phone. So I am old-fashioned. I do like to pick up the phone. I think a lot of my clients, particularly like some of my younger clients, they prefer email, and I will email. But I would always prefer to chat.
That's a really interesting point, because I think we do live in a world where, I feel like I'm old enough to say this now, the younger generation, they want to do everything through WhatsApp, social media direct message, through email, where I'm like you. I'd rather, for the time it takes me to read an email, send an email, then wait for your response to come back and so on and so forth, I'd rather just pick up the phone, get done what's done.
But you're not getting enough from an email, are you? Often with the email, they're asking a question. I can answer the question, but I really want to say, why are you asking that question?
Yeah.
You know, I want to know where that's coming from.
Why is that important to you?
Yeah. And if I'm talking to them, I can get that. I can get the background behind the question, and I might be able to suggest something else. But if you don't answer the phone, I can't tell you. You know?
No, exactly. I think it is right. And I think one of the key things that I always talk about is it's like when your partner or your better half texts you the words okay. I think naturally, as humans, we take that as a negative okay. Oh, okay. Because in written format, whether it's email, LinkedIn message, text, whatever, we can't read the emotion that's behind it, right? But I think when we're on the phone, we can understand the tonality, we can understand the speed of what things are being said. So we can pick up on all these cue points so much easier than just the written format. You know, okay could actually mean, okay, that's really exciting, but we automate, oh, okay. Like,
yeah, that's it. You're missing all the cues on like that. I mean, with the okay on a text message, she's answered off her watch. That's okay. Yeah. But no, I exactly. Yeah. When you're talking to somebody, there's everything else that you can pick up.
Yeah.
You know, with an email, I always feel like a bit distant from a client. You know, I don't know what's behind that email. I don't know how they're feeling. And when I reply, you know, you're thinking, are they going to reply in 20 minutes? Is that a good sign? Are they going to reply in like a week? You know, am I hot? Am I cold? You know, what's going on?
Absolutely.
You know? Whereas with a phone call, you know, don't you?
Absolutely. So it sounds like this is quite a positive conversation with a prospect, and you mentioned you're going to be taking that to a bit more of a face-to-face kind of situation very soon. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. That'll be a face-to-face presentation in a couple of weeks. I think face-to-face and on the phone is when I'm best. And yes, hopefully that will be a new client to Bespoke Batteries.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations. So for anyone watching this that's sort of quite new to sales or is trying to venture out, perhaps they've been hiding behind email too long and they're trying to venture into face-to-face sales. Do you have any tips for someone who's kind of going to be approaching that kind of situation?
Face-to-face, never be late, ever. So if I've got a 10 o'clock appointment in Manchester, I'm leaving the night before, and it's just don't ever be late. I just can't stand it. I'd always rather be 2 hours early and I'll go and get a coffee somewhere and do emails than be 5 minutes late.
Yes,
I would never be 5 minutes late. You don't know if they've got more meetings coming up afterwards. I mean, imagine if you were 10 or 20 minutes late and they've got another meeting backing onto it. You're not going to get to deliver what you wanted to deliver. Always be early, always be well presented. Chew a mint before you go in.
I suddenly feel conscious.
Yeah. Yes, that's it. And I think I don't really try and. I know you're a sales nerd. You look at the science of sales. I mean, for me, it's really just about being trustworthy, being honest, being polite. And I mean, who doesn't like that? I mean, if you know what you're talking about, you're being honest and you're trying to deliver a service, then surely you're going to be successful. And in the past, I mean, I've been out to prospects and I've delivered my findings. And honestly, maybe the competitor that I'm quoting against or the insurer that I'm quoting against, I can't really offer anything. Do you know what I mean? The products that they've got at the moment, they're absolutely fine. I can't save them any money anywhere. I can't do anything. I'm really just sort of turning up and reporting on what they've got and saying, what you've got is fine. It's not broken. Don't need to fix this. And I've turned up before and I've run through that and I've kind of said, everything's fine. I've done a review of the market and, nothing wrong here. And they've said, but can we use you anyway? Because I find business-like the way you've come out to see us and you've run through all the findings and, you're better than our current guy. I know nothing's broken, but you seem great. So can we sign up with you? So a couple of times I have had that where I really won something that I shouldn't have done just by turning up and being professional. Or the other thing is, if you go out and be professional and you can't win it in that sort of case, again, be business-like, be professional. And in the future, they'll talk to you again. So that year I couldn't win it because there was nothing wrong with it. They decided to remain where they were. But in future years, if I say to them, can I talk to you again? They'll say, yeah, because we didn't feel harassed. We didn't feel threatened by you. We like the way you ran through things. You seem like a nice guy. Yeah, you can have another look at our things and I might win it then. And a lot of times when you're sort of talking to a prospect, you might not win it first time, but you can certainly lose it and never ever darken their doors again if you push for a sale that's not there. But keep on the good side of them. Show yourself in a good light and they'll give you another go in the future.
And to be fair, there were some real golden little gems in what you said there, Gareth, and loads to pick apart. And I think you're right. There's many, I'm sure there's going to be sort of, sales directors or managing directors watching this who might have in the past sort of been, persuading their salespeople or their team to make the sale no matter what, hiding over, maybe not fabricating things, but trying to generate reasons why that sale should go ahead. And from what you're saying, that's potentially the wrong way to do things.
Well, each to their own.
I'm not trying to start a fire here at all.
There are salespeople that are maybe more convincing than me, that maybe are more persistent than me, that will do the hard sell. I have worked in organisations before like that where they are trying to sell something and they will focus on the pros. These are the reasons why we sell this. What about all the negatives? We don't talk about those. We talk about the positives. We don't really do that. We'll talk to the client about what they want. These are the pros, these are the cons. We make the decision together.
Yeah.
I'm your advisor. I'm not trying to sell you anything. And because I'm not trying to hide anything, I will portray the situation, the product, the service, whatever it is. I will portray it as it is. These are the pros, these are the cons. And we'll make the decision together.
Yeah.
And the beauty of being independent, we are independent. We're not tied to any providers. Is If I don't think that's the best product for you, I'm not going to try and sell it to you. If that's the only thing you can buy, I will say, well, that is all we've got this year. It's not great, but that's all we've got. I'm in that boat with you, making that decision with you. And next year, in 5 years' time, and in 10 years' time, I'm still there. So really, I want what's best for you because I don't want it to blow up in my face next year when we come around to do the renewals. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I'm exactly the same. You know, I the amount of times where I've walked away from sales for whatever reason, maybe I didn't feel that we were capable of doing something, or for whatever reason, just I didn't think we could bring any value. You know, I've walked away from those sales, and you know, like I said, there'll be many people that will be like, no matter what, get the sale. But I always value the relationship over the commission or the revenue that I can get. I'd rather walk away, maintain the relationship so that next time they need something, I'm there fresh in their mind, than try and do something, ruin the relationship, and then we fall out, they go elsewhere. Because then I lose all the recommendations, I lose all the referrals, I lose that relationship.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's crucial to have that relationship in place so that when they are ready, because they always will be, they'll want another something at some stage, you're the person that they think of, because they value that advice and the honesty, I think, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and sometimes you can pass people on as well, can't you? Yeah. I can't do that, but I know somebody that can.
Absolutely.
You know.
And if you don't mind me asking, do you ever do that with competitors? I.e., do you sort of pass, I assume you do, but do you then sort of say, we can't do it, but try and use this person or that person?
Yeah, there are some markets that I don't like to dabble. So if there's something that I don't do very often and I might make a mess of it, I have a little black book of people who I know, who I will sort of say, you want to call this guy, or I'll get them to give you a call, because occupational health, things like that, that's not my bag. You know, I'm good at what I'm good at. I don't do pensions, I don't do occupational health. There are bits and bobs that I don't do. I've got trusted partners that I can hand you on to if that's what you want.
Fantastic, love that. So you're clearly very knowledgeable in the world of, in general, obviously, but obviously in the world of business and obviously what you do, but sales also. Have you ever had any sort of sales training before? Have you ever?
Yeah, I've had sales training before. Never with you, Rob, but maybe we can.
It's been noted.
You can always improve. Yeah, I've had sales training before. To be honest, the last sales training I had, I sat in there. I thought the guy was great. He was great. He was such a good presenter. He knew so much about sales, and he boiled it down to a science. And I sat there thinking, I should resign. I don't know what on earth I'm doing. That's not. It's just not for me. I think I don't try and sell. I just try and be helpful. This isn't an act. This is how I am. And I know what I'm talking about. I'm going to try and help. And over time, that has been successful. Funnily enough, it's just about offering value, and trustworthy, honest, business-like, that sort of thing. I'm not like that at all in my personal life. I'm a terrible person. But professionally, you can hang your ass on me.
Yeah, and I think you've raised some valuable points, and I think there are a lot of sales trainers out there. There's some fantastic ones out there. But there's those that I think they set up these systems or these methods, I think is what I'm trying to say, to then sell, because they know that selling that product is, I can't even talk now, that product of a system, they'll make more money on than just saying sales training.
Yeah. They've come up with a system. They've taken a real life thing, turned it into a system in the lab, and sort of saying this is how it works. And I think you can always get better. I think you can analyse what you do and look to try and improve. But you have to. I think you also have to sell to your strengths. I mean, if you are somebody that can do the hard sell, if you are a very slick pitcher, if you are very pushy, then that's play to your strengths. I'm not like that.
No, absolutely.
I can't really do the hard sell. I just have to do what I do.
But I think you are right. I think if you look at every section of what the normal kind of sales journey is, that usual sales process is, I think if you do everything right from the prospecting, the relationship development, the qualifying, objection handling, everything, the sale itself becomes pretty much sold for you. You don't have to, what we'd stereotypically class as closing, because if you do everything right, the close doesn't need to happen. You just ask for the sale, don't you? I tend to think so.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think I ever do much closing really. It just sort of happens.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? I mean, like with that prospect I was speaking to the other day, I mean, almost the closes happened before I presented.
Yeah,
Almost. I hope they're not watching. But there I can demonstrate a lot of value. I've got the best service for them. You know, I've given them advice they've never had before. I can do a lot for that client. They saw that on the phone. Really, the presenting is really just sorting out the detail.
Absolutely. So final question then, before we wrap up, it's a question that I like to ask everyone who comes onto the show is, if you could go back to your very first day of working in sales and being on that, that sales floor or whatever it was, what advice would you currently give back to that younger person?
Wish you'd told me this earlier. So what advice could I'd probably just say to my younger self, don't worry, it's going to be all right, because I think when I was younger, I was just a bit uncertain, do I know enough? I hadn't got the confidence of having done it many years. Am I too young? Do I know enough? Can I do this? And 20 odd years later, yeah, you can. It's don't worry.
Perfect, love it. It's getting the reps in, keep practicing, keep slogging.
Yeah,
absolutely love it. Well, look, Gareth, it's been a pleasure chatting with you. The time's absolutely flown by. So thanks so much for coming on the show, and hopefully we'll catch up again very soon. And thank you for watching this episode of the Sales Circle. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, drop a comment below. Let me know your kind of key takeaway points, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the like button as well. If you want to learn more about Gareth and Bespoke Benefits, we'll drop some links around this video somewhere, which will take you directly to their website and all their socials. But make sure you stay tuned. We've got some more incredible guests coming up with some incredible sales, marketing and business growth knowledge. And until next week, all the best.